When a liberal TV host tried to trap Melania Trump with a series of provocative questions about her marriage, he thought he had her cornered, but what happened next left him speechless. Get ready for one of the most unexpected moments in TV history, as Melania turns the tables and delivers a response that stunned the entire studio. You won't believe how this one plays out. Keep watching. In a high-profile interview on a bright spring afternoon in Manhattan, Melania Trump sat poised and elegant, wearing a pristine white dress that radiated grace. The interview was expected to follow the usual course, with the host, a well-known liberal personality, asking her about her philanthropic work and her role as the First Lady. At first, the conversation was polite, and Melania spoke passionately about her initiative to prevent cyberbullying and the importance of supporting America's youth. She stated that every child deserved a chance to thrive, emphasizing her commitment to making a positive impact. The audience, impressed by her sincerity, applauded her words, and everything seemed to be following the typical routine. However, things took a sharp turn when the host began to adopt a more skeptical tone, questioning the sincerity of Melania's charitable work and implying it was merely for image building. Melania, maintaining her composure, responded firmly, stating that those who questioned her sincerity often revealed more about themselves than others. The host, sensing an opening, pushed further, subtly suggesting that Melania's marriage to Donald Trump had more to do with his wealth and status than love or compatibility. Melania's calm, measured response cut through the insinuation as she affirmed that their relationship was built on mutual respect, shared values, and love, not material gain. The host, now frustrated and sensing that his usual tactics weren't working, pushed even harder, directly asking whether Melania would still be with Donald if he wasn't wealthy. This question, which he likely thought would catch her off guard, only served to highlight Melania's strength and unwavering support for her husband. She confidently stated that her love for Donald had nothing to do with his wealth. It was his character, dedication to his family, and devotion to serving the country that truly mattered. Melania's response was not just an answer to the question. It was a powerful rebuke to the host's attempt to reduce her relationship to something shallow. As the interview continued, Melania's responses became increasingly sharp, revealing a deeper layer of her character that the host had clearly underestimated. She challenged the notion that success and love were defined by wealth, stating that the real wealth in a relationship came from loyalty, dedication, and shared principles. By the end of the interview, the host's earlier smugness had completely dissipated. The audience, who had initially been skeptical, was now fully behind Melania, applauding her poise and strength. The host, now visibly deflated, realized that his attempt to embarrass her had spectacularly backfired. Through this exchange, Melania not only defended her marriage and values, but also turned the tables on a host who believed he could trap her. What was meant to be a confrontation turned into a powerful testament to love, commitment, and integrity, demonstrating that true strength comes from character, not the superficial judgments of others. In a highly anticipated interview in a Manhattan television studio, Melania Trump sat composed and graceful, wearing a white dress that exuded elegance and confidence. The setting was familiar. A liberal host known for his provocative questioning, especially when interviewing conservative figures. The interview began with expected pleasantries, with the host asking about Melania's work with children, her advocacy against cyberbullying, and her commitment to improving the lives of America's youth. Melania, with warmth in her voice, expressed her deep belief that every child deserved the opportunity to thrive, highlighting her charity work with sincerity and passion. The audience, recognizing her genuine efforts, applauded, and everything seemed to be following the usual media narrative. However, the host, sensing an opportunity for a more controversial line of questioning, shifted gears. His skepticism started to emerge, subtly questioning the authenticity of her philanthropic work. Instead of praising her efforts, he insinuated that her charitable initiatives were more about improving her image than making a real impact. Melania's response, calm and unwavering, was a direct challenge to the host's narrative. She pointed out that those who often question her sincerity reveal more about themselves than the work she does. It was clear that Melania had no intention of being drawn into an argument about appearances. As the host continued, his questions became even more pointed, and the atmosphere shifted. He now turned the focus to Melania's marriage to Donald Trump, attempting to draw her into a conversation about whether her relationship was based on love or merely a business arrangement. The audience grew tense, waiting to see how Melania would respond to this direct challenge. With poise and strength, Melania replied that her relationship with Donald was built on partnership and mutual respect. She firmly stated that they had worked together to build their life, and that each of them brought their strengths to their union. The host, not satisfied, pressed further, insinuating that marrying Donald Trump must have dramatically changed her life, with the wealth, status, and power playing a major role in their marriage. Melania, ever calm, countered this narrative with remarkable clarity. She emphasized that her choice to be with Donald was not driven by his wealth, but by who he was as a person. She explained how his dedication to his children, his work ethic, and his love for America were what truly stood out to her. This response, with its quiet strength, not only shut down the host's accusatory line of questioning, but also reframed the entire narrative. Melania revealed a side of her that few had seen before. A woman who knew exactly who she was, what she stood for, and why she was standing by her husband. Her words carried a deeper message that spoke not just to her relationship with Donald Trump, but to the strength and conviction required to withstand public scrutiny. The host, visibly frustrated, attempted one last, desperate question about whether the luxury and wealth that came with marrying Donald played a role in their relationship. Again, Melania turned the question around, reminding him and the audience that true luxury was not found in material possessions, but in values such as loyalty, dedication, and mutual support. She spoke passionately about how Donald had always supported her dreams, just as she supported his, and that their relationship was founded on shared principles, not financial gain. The tension in the studio was palpable, and as Melania's words sunk in, it became clear that the narrative the host had tried to create was crumbling. Instead of being the subject of ridicule, Melania had turned the interview into a powerful statement about love, loyalty, and the strength of their partnership. The audience, who had been silent for much of the interview, erupted in applause, showing their support for her. Even the host, now visibly deflated, struggled to regain control of the conversation. Melania's grace, poise, and unwavering belief in her values had shone through, and the host's attempt to discredit her had failed spectacularly. In the end, what was meant to be an embarrassing moment for Melania Trump turned into an inspiring display of dignity and strength, reminding everyone that true success and love are measured not by wealth or status, but by character and the strength of the bonds we build with others. During an intense television interview in Manhattan, Melania Trump, poised and graceful, sat in a pristine white dress, exuding quiet confidence. The host, known for his sharp and often confrontational questioning of conservative figures, began the conversation with typical questions about Melania's charitable work, particularly her advocacy for children and cyberbullying prevention. As she spoke passionately about her efforts to invest in America's future by supporting youth, the audience responded positively, applauding her sincerity. However, the tone of the interview shifted when the host subtly began questioning the authenticity of her philanthropy. He insinuated that her work was more about image than actual impact, prompting Melania to calmly defend her actions, stating that critics of her sincerity often reveal more about themselves than her work. As the conversation progressed, the host shifted to a more personal topic: Melania's marriage to Donald Trump. He probed whether her marriage was built on love or merely a business arrangement, pressing her to address the difficulties of being married to someone so politically polarizing. Melania responded with unwavering confidence, asserting that her relationship with Donald was built on mutual respect, partnership, and shared strength. She firmly stated that, despite their differing public personas, they supported each other in every aspect of life. However, the host, sensing an opening, continued to challenge her, implying that her wealth and status played a significant role in their marriage. He questioned whether she would still be with Donald if he were not wealthy or influential. Melania, with calm determination, retorted that she married Donald for the man he was, not for his wealth or social standing. She spoke passionately about how Donald's dedication to his children and his country was what truly impressed her, rather than his business empire. Her response, delivered with grace and conviction, stunned the host and the audience alike. Instead of becoming defensive or angry, Melania used her response to highlight the importance of love, loyalty, and mutual support in their relationship. She challenged the host's assumptions about relationships and emphasized that true value lies in character and dedication, not in material wealth. The host, growing more uncomfortable with each response, tried to steer the conversation back to his initial line of questioning. But Melania's composure and thoughtful answers made it clear that she was in control. She pointed out that her choice to be with Donald had nothing to do with his bank account, but everything to do with the person he was. She emphasized the importance of values, such as loyalty, integrity, and respect in relationships, which transcended the superficial judgments that others might make based on wealth and status. By the end of the interview, the host was left scrambling to regain control, but it was clear to everyone that Melania had turned the tables. What was meant to be a moment of embarrassment had transformed into a powerful statement about love, commitment, and character. The audience, who had been mostly silent throughout the interview, erupted in applause, showing their admiration for Melania's strength and composure under pressure. The host, now visibly deflated, had failed to discredit her or her marriage, and instead, Melania had used the platform to convey a deeper message about the power of values and true commitment. As the interview unfolded, the host's tone became more confrontational, especially when the topic shifted to Melania Trump's marriage to Donald Trump. His line of questioning, aimed at exposing flaws in their relationship, grew more pointed. He insinuated that Melania's marriage was more of a business arrangement than a genuine partnership, suggesting that her husband's wealth and influence were the driving factors behind their union. The audience, who had been following the interview with mild interest, began to feel the tension rise in the room, sensing that the host's attempt to provoke Melania was about to backfire. Melania, however, responded with the grace and poise that had become her trademark. She calmly explained that her marriage with Donald was built on respect, understanding, and shared values. Rather than reacting defensively or emotionally to the host's insinuations, Melania addressed the underlying question about women's independence and the scrutiny placed on strong women. She pointed out how society often judges women for the choices they make, especially when those choices don't fit the expected narrative. Her firm yet composed response sent a powerful message. A woman's worth and decisions should not be reduced to simplistic views, particularly when it comes to her personal life and marriage. The host, undeterred by her measured tone, tried to press further, questioning whether Melania's success as a model and businesswoman had truly prepared her for the challenges of being First Lady. He seemed unable to accept the fact that Melania's career and values were separate from her husband's political persona. But Melania skillfully turned the focus back onto her own strength, citing how she had always valued independence, hard work, and dedication, traits she continued to uphold even after stepping into the public spotlight. She revealed that her love for Donald was based on the person he was, not the wealth he possessed, emphasizing that love transcends superficial markers of status and wealth. The shift in the interview was palpable. As Melania spoke about her admiration for Donald's commitment to his family and country, the host's attempts to undermine her only revealed more about his own narrow perspective. She reminded the audience that her decision to stand by her husband had nothing to do with money or status. It was a reflection of mutual respect and shared principles. Her calm yet firm stance left the host visibly rattled and the audience in awe. What had started as an attempt to provoke Melania turned into a masterclass in composure, strength, and the importance of true commitment. Her message was clear. Relationships, especially those rooted in love and respect, are far more valuable than any material possessions or public opinions. The interview, initially meant to embarrass her, ended up showcasing her unwavering integrity and the depth of her character. As the interview progressed, The host's persistent questioning about Melania Trump's marriage to Donald Trump began to take a more personal and confrontational turn. Initially, he approached the topic with subtlety, probing whether her marriage was based on genuine love or if it was merely a transaction fueled by Donald Trump's wealth and power. His line of questioning implied that Melania's relationship with the former president might have been more about the advantages that came with his status than the emotional connection between them. However, Melania's response, marked by a calm yet unwavering confidence, was nothing short of powerful. Instead of becoming defensive, she stood her ground, challenging the host's narrow view of relationships. She explained that her marriage with Donald was built on mutual respect, understanding, and shared values. She made it clear that love was at the core of their relationship, not material wealth or status. With grace and poise, Melania dismissed the host's insinuations, emphasizing that their partnership was about far more than the surface-level perceptions that the media and critics often fixated on. The host tried to steer the conversation back towards the material aspects of her life, questioning whether she ever felt overshadowed by Donald's larger-than-life personality. Again, Melania took the opportunity to shed light on her own independence and strength. She revealed that she had a successful career before meeting Donald and was financially independent. The host's assumptions about her motivations were based on stereotypes, not the reality of who she was as a woman. She was not a gold digger or someone looking to ride the coattails of her husband's wealth. As the questioning grew more aggressive, Melania's composure only strengthened. She pointed out how often strong women like herself were judged for their choices, and how society tended to devalue the importance of love, respect, and genuine partnership. Melania's clear and respectful deflections shifted the focus from her husband's wealth to the true essence of their relationship: character, loyalty, and commitment. Her answers were a powerful statement about how personal relationships should be judged on values, not external circumstances. By the end of the interview, the host's attempts to provoke Melania had completely backfired. The audience, once neutral, now stood firmly behind her, recognizing the strength in her words and the depth of her character. What started as an interview designed to challenge Melania ended up being a testament to her unwavering grace under pressure, her commitment to her values, and her unshakable loyalty to her family. She had not only stood up for her marriage, but had also exemplified what it means to have integrity and strength, regardless of public opinion. As the interview continued, the host's questions became increasingly personal and accusatory, especially when he began focusing on Melania Trump's marriage to Donald Trump. He insinuated that her relationship with the former president was not based on love, but instead hinged on his wealth and power. The host's attempt to provoke a reaction was clear, as he suggested that Melania's success as a model and businesswoman could not possibly be enough to explain her choice of a partner. To him, the only reason someone would stay in a relationship with such a polarizing figure as Donald Trump was because of the advantages it provided. Melania, however, was prepared for this line of questioning. With grace and confidence, she rejected the host's assumptions and challenged his narrow perspective on relationships. She explained that their marriage was built on mutual respect, love, and shared values, not money or status. She emphasized how, in her eyes, true love goes beyond material possessions, stressing that she was not looking for wealth or luxury when she chose Donald. Melania made it clear that their partnership was based on a strong emotional bond and their commitment to one another. The host, clearly uncomfortable with Melania's poised responses, pushed further, trying to paint her marriage as something transactional. Yet, Melania calmly and eloquently countered his claims, pointing out how society often judges strong women for their choices while failing to understand the complexities of love and commitment. She explained that true wealth in a relationship is not measured by the amount of money one has, but by the loyalty, dedication, and support partners offer each other. Her words resonated not only with the audience, but also with anyone who understood the depth of a strong and loving marriage. At the heart of her answers, Melania demonstrated that her marriage was not a shallow pursuit of status, but a union built on genuine love and shared dreams. Her ability to turn the tables on the host's provocative questions and assert her values without succumbing to the pressure was a moment of strength that captivated the audience. By the end of the interview, it was clear that Melania had not only defended her marriage, but had also shown what it means to stand firm in your principles, even under the harshest scrutiny. As the interview progressed, the host's persistence in pushing Melania Trump into a corner about her marriage to Donald Trump only seemed to intensify. His questions grew bolder, more personal, and increasingly accusatory. He tried to corner her by asking if her marriage to the former president was based on his wealth and influence, rather than love and genuine connection. He even suggested that Melania might have married him because of the opportunities his wealth and political stature could offer. It was clear that the host's intention was to discredit both her and her marriage. However, Melania stood her ground with remarkable composure and grace. Instead of reacting with anger or defensiveness, she calmly challenged the host's assumptions. She responded to his insinuations by explaining that she had her own successful career and was financially independent before meeting Donald Trump. She made it clear that she chose Donald not because of his wealth or status, but because of the person he is. Her voice remained calm and firm as she described how their partnership was based on mutual respect, understanding, and shared values. Her response was a direct rebuttal to the host's narrow view of relationships and marriage. She emphasized that true love isn't about financial gain or external benefits, but about the bond between two people. For Melania, the foundation of her marriage with Donald was built on loyalty, dedication, and a shared commitment to supporting one another. In a world where relationships are often seen as transactions or status symbols, Melania highlighted the importance of choosing a partner based on character rather than material wealth. Melania's poise and strength in the face of these provocative questions were a powerful reminder of the importance of standing up for one's values and not succumbing to stereotypes. While the host tried to push his narrative, Melania expertly turned the conversation back to the core of what truly matters in a relationship. She spoke about her husband's character, his unwavering dedication to his family and country, and his deep love for her and their children. By the end of the interview, the host was clearly deflated, and the audience was captivated by Melania's ability to maintain her dignity while dismantling the host's baseless accusations. She had turned what could have been an uncomfortable confrontation into a compelling lesson in the power of love, loyalty, and integrity. The moment was a testament to Melania's strength and resilience, reminding everyone that true strength doesn't come from wealth or status, but from the unwavering commitment to what you believe in. As the interview continued, the host's frustration with Melania Trump's composed and thoughtful responses became more apparent. He had initially attempted to trap her with personal and insinuating questions about her marriage to Donald Trump. However, Melania's calm and confident demeanor only highlighted her strength and resilience. The host, clearly desperate to make the interview turn in his favor, became increasingly aggressive, questioning her relationship with Donald and whether it was driven by his wealth and influence. Melania, however, refused to fall into the trap. Instead of reacting with anger or defensiveness, she responded with poise and clarity. She firmly rejected the idea that her marriage to Donald was based on financial gain or status. She reminded the host that she had her own career and had made her own path in life before meeting Donald. It was evident to the audience that she was not a woman who needed anyone to validate her or her choices. What followed was a masterclass in grace under pressure. She explained that love and commitment were at the heart of her marriage, not the superficiality that others might assume. Melania emphasized that a strong partnership is built on respect and shared values. The audience, once unsure, now found themselves captivated by her eloquent and heartfelt words. The host, in contrast, struggled to keep control of the situation. Every question he asked seemed to be met with a well-thought-out response that not only defended her relationship, but also defied the host's attempts to undermine her and Donald's marriage. When the host finally pressed her on her husband's controversial political stance, Melania continued to maintain her composure. She shared with the audience how, Despite all the media attention and criticism, Donald remained dedicated to his work and his country. His devotion to his family and values was evident in everything he did. By now, the host's tactics had clearly backfired, as the audience shifted their allegiance to Melania, impressed by her dignity and the strength of her words. In this exchange, Melania showed the power of confidence and conviction. She didn't need to shout or defend herself against every accusation. Instead, she stood firm in her beliefs, turning every question into a statement of strength and unwavering support for her husband. This interview, initially designed to discredit her, ultimately revealed Melania's true character. A woman of integrity, love, and resilience, who could stand up for herself and her family in the face of public scrutiny. The interview with Melania Trump offers valuable lessons about the power of grace, integrity, and standing firm in one's beliefs, especially in the face of adversity. One of the key takeaways is the importance of self-confidence and self-respect. In a world where people often judge others based on superficial standards, Melania's ability to remain composed and dignified teaches us that true strength comes from within. She shows us that responding with patience, thoughtfulness, and respect, rather than reacting impulsively to provocations, is a powerful way to handle conflict. Additionally, her emphasis on love, loyalty, and shared values in relationships is a reminder of what truly matters. In a society where material wealth and status often overshadow deeper connections, Melania's words remind us that a fulfilling life is built on mutual respect and emotional support, not on appearances or possessions. Her ability to highlight the true essence of her marriage to Donald Trump, one rooted in genuine care and shared commitment, teaches us that relationships should be based on more than just external factors. For older adults, this is an important lesson about staying true to one's values and finding peace within. Life can present many challenges, and people may sometimes feel judged or misunderstood. However, like Melania, it's essential to remember that what truly defines us is not how others perceive us, but the strength of our character and our commitment to those we love. Embracing our individuality and staying grounded in what we believe can help navigate the complexities of life with grace and dignity. If you enjoyed seeing Melania Trump turn the tables on a challenging interview with grace and strength, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Let us know what you think about her powerful message of love, loyalty, and standing up for what you believe in. Until next time, remember, true strength is measured by your character, not the opinions of others.